Hi, I'm Myk Habets from Carey Graduate School. I read a book a few years ago that powerfully impacted me. It was called The Cross-Shattered Christ, and it was full of all these wood-cut carvings that they'd made impressions of, particularly from medieval times, and then this author had put this narrative around these woodcuts and talks about the cross-shattered Christ. It was profound, and it talked about Good Friday, talked about Black Saturday, and talked about Easter Sunday, and just narrated these three very familiar days which Christians, every year at Easter we reflect and meditate and go to church services and camps, but it reflected on these again from a particular perspective that I hadn't necessarily forgotten, but it's not something we think about a lot. It's the utter abandonment of the Son by the Father and by the Son and by the Holy Spirit to sin and to the fall and to the point of death, and death on a cross, where Christ of course gives that cry of dereliction, my God, why have you forsaken me? Of course we know that the Father hasn't quite literally forsaken the Son. We know that God can't forsake himself, but as Christ took on our sin and took on our alienation and took on our judgment, then he genuinely felt this abandonment, this turning away of the Father. And that's this Black Saturday. And so this Easter, as you go to camp or as you go to and attend a church service, as you do whatever it is that you do of Easter eggs and bunnies and family and have fun, and that's awesome. But maybe this Easter as well, you might just take some time to reflect with a few others around you of what Christ has done. And on that Saturday, Black Saturday particularly, maybe just sit in that silence, sit in that dark space, sit in that time between his death on Friday, it is finished, and Sunday, he is risen indeed. Maybe on Saturday, remember and reflect the depths to which God has gone to show his love for us. And then reflect on that in your families and maybe in a small group. And then maybe offer a prayer for those who feel abandoned, who feel this Easter like they are alone too. And maybe share with them the good news that even in our worst moments, our darkest days, Christ is with us, God is with us, and resurrection is coming. Have a blessed Easter.